Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. Just off the bat, I didn't actually write any notes, but I'm just going to sit there and give my general opinion and feelings about this episode. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while when it comes to Sarah, you know at this point, I really don't like this woman. I really don't like this woman. I don't understand how you wound up getting involved with somebody who you knew who their history was, who continue to sit there and practically show you their ass at every single minute. And now she's on this whole, oh, I can't sit there and tell Xander about the baby because he's a bad person. Yeah, but you knew what he was like. Um, and he did feel sorry. He did feel remorse for it. And I understand that, it's going to happen once it's going to happen again or whatever. But there's something that just generally bothers me about the fact that she is um, withholding his child. It's just something that just bothers me about it. So she's with Rex, right? And she finds out from Rex that, Xander's not there dating Chloe, and she's jealous. Which I'm just like, bro, you have no I was like, you have no authority whatsoever to sit there and be even the 10% of jealousy that you have going on right now. You really don't. You skipped town. You left after you practically said every bad name that you could to him, because you were disgusted with his actions. And you have the audacity, on top of the fact that you are leaving with his child, and you have the audacity to sit there and be jealous. I'm like, boo. And they gave this, and they allowed this woman to be a doctor. She actually treats patients. I just, okay. So she's jealous. Which sounds stupid in itself. You know what she does? She decides to try to use Rex. And, Rex is like, listen, it's not like I don't want to be with you. I just want to be with you for real. And I don't want to, I don't want to sit there and do something just because you want to get over somebody else. Now she apologized for that. And I'm like, so now on top of you being a human piece of trash to Xander, now you want to sit there and be trash to him as well. That's, wow, you just batting 2 for 2 so far. So you got that whole thing going on. You got Maggie that comes to Chaz and asks him to, be the CEO, second in command of her company. And she wants somebody who has some real business experience, somebody who could be a shark, somebody knows the lay of the land, somebody who's going to be a good business person. Now she did sit there and ask Xander, and Xander turned her down. So now she's asking Chad, and Chad is like, well, I'm working with Stephanie or whatever. But they talk about it a little bit, and she's like, listen, let me know. And so now Stephanie's not happy. But Stephanie's not happy not because you're somewhat taking away an employee from her. You're not happy because she doesn't like the idea that Chad is taking over. Chad is taking over Alex's job. I had to sit there and think about him for a minute. Alex's job. And Chad is like, well, what's the difference? Like, he got fired or whatever. He's a big boy. He has another job. So what's the problem? And she's like, well, it's optics. First, and I can't even believe that she said this. This is where it's like, was Ron just asleep that day? And he was just like, let me just dribble something out. Because she says, and I quote, well, okay, not verbatim or whatever, but she says, well, first you take his girl, then you take his job. And Chad is like, Chad just has that look that I have, like, that sentence is so ass backwards, I don't even know where to begin. First of all, you're a grown ass woman. You're not a girl. Also, you can make your own choices, and I thought that you did sit there and choose me. Second of all, again, Alex is a grown ass man. Okay? He'll be fine. Actually, hell, he is fine. He has another job. So what's the problem? They talk and they seem like they make up or whatever, and they still want to sit there moving together. And I'm now I know some people, isn't it, they're saying that it's too soon for them to move in together. But I also realize that life is way too short. Life is way, way, way too short. And you don't necessarily have to sit there and move at everyone else's timetable. You don't. That's the bottom line. You don't. If it feels right, do it. Point blank period. Do it. Now you got all these problems that's going on. And I just feel like at this point, it's only going to be a matter of time before they wind up splitting up. It's very difficult to sit there and date somebody who is a widow. It is. It's not simply saying that you can't do it, but there's a certain level of grace that you have to sit there and give that person and understand where your role is at and be okay with that. And some people sit there and think, well, I'll be fine, everything will be good in the hood and everything like that. But then you realize later on that you may wake up one day, you may want more than this person's able to give you. At that point, you're already moved in together, and I mean, who knows if you're knocked up with this person's child? Then you're just really all sorts of whatever. Um, I don't know. It's tough one. You got that going on, right? You got even before that, you got Bonnie Smith there talking to Sarah, and Bonnie was like, "Listen, I did tell Justin." She was like fuming about that. She was like, "Don't worry, he's not gonna sit there and say anything else." Um, and that's when she finds out that Chloe and Xander are dating. You got Justin at the pub, and Justin came up to Xander and Chloe, and at first he didn't want to really kind of chill there, but he was like, "Hey, come on, sit down, grab a seat, let's just hang out and chill, let's because." Um, and so in the beginning, Justin was like, "Well, listen, I do got something to tell you. I do got something to tell you." This is after Xander was sitting there saying, your wife was just acting all sorts of like weird. And of course, Justin was like, "Well, you know how Bonnie is. She's all, that's her usual settings." But what Justin did, what Justin was like, "Hey, just let you know, Maggie found your replacement. It's gonna be Alex. I mean, not Alex Hall. Here's what happens when you don't sit there and write stuff down. Not gonna lie. I can't remember what he said to cover it up, but once he left, Xander was like the whole time, even on the car ride to their place or whatever, he was acting very squirrely, like he was hiding something, like he was extra nervous. Now, at some point, things start to get kind of hot and heavy between Xander and Chloe. And Chloe's like, listen, I don't really know if I'm there yet. I don't know if I'm fully there yet. Um, and she's like, I don't want to sit there and lead you on. And of course, Xander's like, no, I get it. I'm still not over Xan. I'm not over Sarah for some odd reason. So they both start to chill. And, they watch like an action movie, whatever, or a comedy. I have no idea. And of course, both of them are sitting there thinking about their significant others. Now you got Brady and Bella. You got Brady and Bella hanging out. I shouldn't even say hanging out, but they're together, right? And of course, Bella finds out that Xander is with Chloe, and so she's like, "Well, what's going on? What's that about? Their history and everything like that. How could they even sit there and be together?" And of course, Bella starts to sit there and talk about Sean and his guilt and his drinking and all of it. So they're talking about that. They're talking about the fact that Kristen is radio silence, which to both of them just like that's not really good. Of course, they don't know that Kristen and EJ are still being held tied up by Megan who wants to kill Stefan because she is an entirely different breed of a Demara. So they're talking about that. Doesn't really go anywhere, just more catching up. But of course, when Bella gets home, she sits there and walks in, and she sees a bottle of Smirnoff just like on the floor. I'm like, come on, bro. Listen, you. I'm like, it's already bad enough you're sitting there drinking in the afternoon and just, just being drunk and being distanced, but now you gotta be messy too? I mean, it was on the floor. You can even sit there and like put it away in the bottle or even on the table. It's just on the floor. Now you gotta sit there and make her clean up. So now she's gonna sit there and be your maid on top of everything else. Come on, bro. Yeah, you gotta do better. This is ridiculous at this point. Bella and Sean. Bella and Sean. Hey, remember that time that Bella was actually with EJ, and then they decided to put those two together? Bella back with Sean because for some odd reason. What was even the point of that? I think about that quite often when they put those two together, just to sit there. I mean, just sit there and break them up, and then like, what was the point of that? I don't get that. Now, of course, you got EJ with Nicole, and the baby's Eric's. So when that whole thing comes to light, I'm pretty sure those two are going to be together. So once again, who is EJ going to want to be with? Now people are there saying Sloan, and I guess I'm okay with that because I can't stand this needy version of her just kind of slumming it with a damn bum at this point. I have to sit there and look into it. I said this last night. I was like, maybe Eric does have a job. I have no idea what that is, but maybe he does have a job. Um, I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna sit there and find out. Like, damn, at least when he was a priest, he actually had a job. I mean, he may not actually have been making bank, but still had a job. Just saying. Um, I'm sitting there looking at like my notes, and I'm like, oh yeah, no, this is definitely not the correct notes. I feel like that's about it. But just overall, it was actually pretty good. It was actually pretty good. I haven't done a lot of reviews on Days of Our Lives, and mostly, here's the thing, okay, and I'm just gonna be real. I'm not gonna sit there and be like one of those other like soap opera, a lot of other soap opera reviewers just in general. That's just not gonna be 100% honest with people. Mostly because I felt like a lot of people just weren't watching it. Like more people were sitting there watching my YNR and my B&B reviews other than my Days of Lives reviews, and I'm just like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love doing them. I definitely love doing it, and I understand the idea of, well, you should do it because you love it. And it's like, yeah, I do, but I also love doing the other reviews as well. Um, but I also like to sit there and be practical to some extent. And if we're going to be honest, YNR actually has been killing it. Just to be clear, YNR has actually been killing it. And my time sometimes has been very short and limited, so it's like I want to sit there and try to, do two soap operas at the very least. General Hospital is always going to be my show, and although yes, Days can actually be the better soap at times, numbers wise, it just doesn't hit. So anyway, I know this is kind of, I don't want to say this was like a half-ass review, but just give my opinions, my thoughts on the episode. It was actually pretty good. It was good. It was good. I definitely did enjoy it. And yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. And if I missed anything, you know what to do. Come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We're gonna be snitty going in on all of them. B&B, Days, YNR, GH. I feel like I'm missing more, even though there's only 4. So yeah, come through.